UN slams Israel for deadly strike on Gaza shelter as war with Hamas leaves hospitals under siege. The death toll from tank fire that hit a United Nations shelter in the Gaza Strip's main southern city of Khan Yunis has risen to 12, a top UN aid official said Thursday. Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry said, meanwhile, that Israeli fire had hit a large group of Palestinians waiting to receive humanitarian aid in Gaza City, killing at least 20 people and leaving scores more wounded. Video obtained and verified by the Reuters news agency showed hundreds of people fleeing amid chaos and the sound of gunfire in Gaza City's Al Zaytun neighborhood. CBS News could not immediately verify the information provided by the ministry, which does not distinguish between civilian and combatant deaths. The Israeli military said it was looking into the incident. Gaza City, the largest metropolis in the enclave, was the focus of Israel's offensive against Hamas for weeks. But the IDF has said the militants were largely driven from the city, and the bulk of its operations more recently have been further south, around Khan Yunis. 12 people have now been confirmed dead with over 75 injuries, 15 of whom are in a critical condition. Thomas White, Gaza director of the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA, said in a statement about the shelling of the agency's shelter in Khan Yunis. 2 tank shells struck the UNRWA shelter Wednesday in Khan Yunis, where thousands of displaced Palestinians have taken refuge, White said. UNRWA chief Philippe Lazzarini said in a post on social media that the bombardment showed a blatant disregard of basic rules of war, noting that the compound had been clearly marked as a UN facility and its coordinates shared with Israeli authorities. Asked about the tank fire, the Israeli army said a thorough review of the operations of the forces in the vicinity is underway, adding that it was examining the possibility that the strike was a result of Hamas fire. The Israeli army is the only force known to have tanks operating in the Gaza Strip. The United States also criticized the bombardment, with State Department spokesperson Vedant Patel saying, "We deplore the attack. You've heard me say it before, you've heard the Secretary say before, but civilians must be protected. UN facilities must be respected, and humanitarian workers must be protected so that they can continue providing civilians with the life-saving humanitarian assistance that they need." CBS News senior foreign correspondent Charlie D'Agata reported Thursday that in Israel's relentless assault on Khan Yunis, even the city's hospitals are under siege. Health officials in the Hamas-run Palestinian territory said Thursday that more than 50 civilians were killed over the preceding 24 hours alone, pushing the overall Palestinian death toll in Gaza to almost 26,000 since the war, sparked by Hamas's brutal October 7 terror attack, began. In his statement, UNRWA's Gaza director White said heavy fighting close to the few hospitals still functioning in Khan Yunis had effectively encircled these facilities, leaving terrified staff, patients, and displaced people trapped inside. He said one hospital, Al-Khair, had shut down after patients, including women who had just undergone C-section surgeries, were evacuated in the middle of the night. The situation in Khan Yunis underscores a consistent failure to uphold the fundamental principles of international humanitarian law, distinction, proportionality, and precautions in carrying out attacks. This is unacceptable and abhorrent and must stop. Every measure must be taken to protect civilians. I remind all parties that protection of hospitals, clinics, medical personnel, and UN premises is explicitly enshrined within international law, White said.